All right, so let's just can't talk. Let's discuss a few things. I want to tell y'all about my experience so far owning the Tesla, living in the Tesla, being someone who utilizes a Tesla on most of the time. I supercharge, meaning I don't have a home base to charge at nightly. I want to go over those things, some must-have accessories, just from living in this vehicle every single day for the last 90 days. Here is my synopsis on what I think you need to know and should consider before owning a Tesla and leasing whatever. So first things first, when you buy a Tesla, before you even get it, order the privacy shades. Order one for the roof and at least order one for your windshield. They're a must-have. You need one for the windshield and you need one for the roof. It gets so hot in here. Let's put it in FSD so we can talk a little better. It's a must-have. These cars are ovens. They are ovens. And from factory, they're not tinted with UV blocking or any type of infrared, which blocks out heat transfer as well. They're nothing like that. They're just tinted for darkness. So another thing I recommend also is getting as many windows tinted as you are comfortable with. Personally, I have my windshield tinted, I have my front two windows tinted, and I'm planning on getting these back ones tinted soon as, expendable income in that direction comes available. But those are definitely must-haves. What else do I think is a must-have? WeatherTech mats. You don't necessarily need to get the Tesla ones. There are so many brands that make really good WeatherTech style mats, whether they're either rubber or they're made out of, there's another ones I've seen made out of some different material, but that is also a must. These carpets will just get embedded little pieces of just string, hay, just anything you can imagine. It just builds up over time. Definitely a must have. What else do I got that is a must-have? The shelving units inside of the compartments for your center console and your front console area. Those are a must-have. They are super deep. They're huge. You want to put stuff that you don't grab often in these consoles in the bottom, and then you can get little shelving units that go to the top so you can get your go-to items for every day. What else? I think that basically covers the must-haves. And then as far as when you get the vehicle, know that almost all the time, you're never going to charge above 80 to 85%. And one thing I've noticed, in order to save your battery, look at that sunbeam, in order to save your battery and keep degradation low over time, you don't want to also, when you're driving it, you don't want to let it get below 20%. Because especially if you're like me and you enjoy your vehicle, I personally try not to let it get below 25%. And then I try not to charge over 85%. And if I have a long trip where I feel like I need to charge up to 100%, I never charge 100%. I do a 100% charge once a month. And that's just to kind of cycle the battery and let it reach a full charge, just to kind of exercise it. But other than that, my personal full charge level is 95%, 99% of the time. And then for daily driving, it's 80 to 85%. And I don't let it get below 25%. This is something that I've noticed over time. So I have a 2021 Tesla Model Y long-range all-wheel drive, and according to my Tessie app, which is another must-have, the Tessie app, it's Tessie. I'll put it up in here somewhere so you know how the spelling goes. But the Tessie app is super cheap. It's a subscription-based app. They do have a free option as well, but in my opinion, it's worth paying for. It'll give you your battery where it's at. My battery is about at 88.8, which is funny, 888. It's 88.8% degradation. I'll take a screenshot and post it. It's somewhere around that number, but which is pretty standard. That level, you're gonna lose most of your battery capacity in the first 2 years of ownership, and then after that, it typically stabilizes where you only lose 0.5% each year following that. But they say you're gonna lose roughly 7 to 10% after 2 years, and then it's going to taper off. And then you got a good amount of years to enjoy it. So, you know, these cars are rated when you buy them at about 327 miles per full charge. Get that out of your head. You're getting 280 miles if you're on average driving. Like if you are really, really trying to, you could probably get 300 miles on a full charge. But just go ahead and tell yourself you're going to get 275 to 300 miles, depending on if you charge from 80 to 100%. That's where you're going to be. And really, honestly, even saying that out loud, I'm realizing you're actually going to get less than that, because you're not going to run it to zero. You're really going to get about 230 to 250 miles of range per charge, because you don't want it to go below 25%, and you don't really want to charge above 90%. Really, I do 85. Tesla recommends 80%, but there's some flexibility. That's just something I've learned from batteries over time, whether it's dealing with things like my portable Anchor charger or my cell phone, or just my VR headset. I got a lot of knowledge dealing with batteries and trying to maintain them over time and keeping them going and keeping them good. So that's something else you want to consider. Let's see what else. If you're someone that doesn't do a lot of trips, for example, my scenario, every other week I drive about 11 hours round trip between picking my son up and dropping him off. In those trips, picking him up is about 288 miles. When I go to pick him up, no, is it 288 or 188? I think it's 188. No, it's 288 miles. Yeah, because I always have to end up charging. It's 288 miles that I drive to pick him up, and then when I drop him off, it's like 160 to 180 miles, depending the rough estimate of where we meet up in that to drop him off. So, and it works out for me. I can charge one time and I can make it to my destination, charge one time, get back to my destination, and then I can charge one time when I drop him off, which I still charge twice, because I just take a break in between my ride. It just breaks it up, and then I only have to charge for like 10 minutes to get back and forth, and it minimizes my charge times. But yeah, that's something else you want to consider. But yeah, I think I've pretty much wrapped that up. I'm gonna pause it for now, and I'll come back in if I think of more stuff. But okay, and let's talk about some aesthetic accessories. Not necessarily must-haves, but in my opinion, these are the most aesthetically pleasing must-haves that if you want to upgrade your Tesla, these are, in my opinion, some must-have. So some louvers. Louvers are they cover the little back small window in the back of the Tesla. The louvers look awesome. I have rain guards on mine as well. I think they look great, but what I will say is there's extra wind, so I'm sure I'm getting a little bit less range by having those, but looks wise, they look phenomenal. If you have a Legacy Model Y, you definitely want to get the black Gemini wheel covers, the Aero wheel covers. That's a must-have in my opinion. If you go to, there's a company called Halo Black, and they make the carbon fiber spoiler that looks similar to the one on the performance model. They offer it for like $299.99, and if you wait for like Black Friday or Father's Day or Mother's Day deals, they sometimes will offer it for $199, which is how much I got mine for. That's definitely a must-have. What else? That pretty much does it for the accessories. A license plate cover. Get you a license plate cover of some sort. It really just adds that extra elegant touch. Oh, one more thing. The puddle lights. Tesla makes puddle lights. They literally take 5 minutes per puddle light. They're connected at the bottom of each door. You have 4 of them on your front doors and on your passenger door. They're a 2-pack is like $70, so for $140 you can get puddle lights for all 4 when you open your door. It looks really cool. It says Tesla. It's very neat. It's perfectly sized, about this big onto the ground. There are some other companies that make them, but in my personal opinion, the puddle lights also connect and control your windows. So I would advise against buying a third-party puddle light, just because you don't want to risk breaking your window, because you know how if you open and close the door, the window shuttles up and down. Shuttles, is that the word I want to use? Cycles up and down ever so slightly, so you can open and close the door. Otherwise, it'll shatter. And I've seen countless videos where people use these third-party lights that look very cool until they got a crack in the side of their window or on the top, or it just malfunctions for some reason. I've even seen, some horror stories of people's cars stopping in the highway, and it's because of a malfunction came in that and the car wouldn't run. Again, take those things with a grain of salt. Do what you want. These are just my recommendations. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up the must-haves for a Tesla. Peace and love. I enjoy y'all tuning in. Look, leave the video a thumbs up. It's the best free thing that you can do to help support the channel, and it helps get my page out to people who have never seen me before, and to help me grow and to help me build upon this channel. I release a video once a week, every Saturday through Monday. I try to release them on Sunday, but typically I start the upload on a Saturday, and sometimes YouTube takes forever and it might not upload until Monday. Sometimes it really depends on where I'm at, what kind of signal I got at the time, so bear with me with that. But every single week, expect to upload between Saturday and Monday. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. I love you all for tuning in. Thanks for enjoying the journey with me.